What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. So today is the battery system upgrade for the 2025 Entegra Launch 19YG. Quick recap. I've been brainstorming on upgrading the battery system on this van because it's a 12 volt AGM battery. The capacity is just not that great. Also the weight of the AGM batteries. There's just a lot of negatives to it. So I'm switching it over to lithium. I'm going to be doing, I'm going to stay with a 12 volt. So I'll walk you through the whole logic and all my brainstorming, what has resulted with all that brainstorming stuff. So I chose to do the upgrade in a OEM plus kind of mindset. So I want to retain the functionality of the Firefly system, how it integrates with the inverter and the charge controller, and also the MPPT solar charger over there. So you can control these and monitor them using the Firefly system. And I want to retain that for this specific van. So this van is an RV. It's made this way. I could go all, from all my research, I learned how to make power systems. I could go all the way, like make a whole new cabinet in here, full Victron stuff, completely disconnected from the Firefly. I can do that. It's just that I'm not sure how long I'm going to be keeping this van for. If since I've learned so much about power system and how to make them and how this van works, I kind of learned. Basically, I had a crash course in building a van because of all my research. I've been up all night researching, learning. It's just when I guess in a way I kind of regret knowing, because now I kind of know the limitations of this van, and I have to accept that, and it's just how it is. Also, this is the cheaper route too. So if you already have a 19YG, or you're planning to buy a 19YG, this is a very cheap upgrade that you can do. So the inverter and the converter, they're both okay with lithium. So this one has a mode switch on the side here. You see the pin? You use that pin to press the button on the side to switch it to lithium mode. So that's good. So you don't have to buy that part. All the wiring here, if you're staying with 12 volt, is okay with lithium, because you're staying with a 12 volt lithium battery. You can wire them in parallel so that you stay at 12 volt, and then you just add storage capacity. So depends on what battery you want. So you can go as big as you want. Like I said, the limitation is my limitation. I limited myself because I want to keep it under that plastic cover that's in here. I want the battery to stay in here. So if I was to make my own cabinet, I can make like a group 8D batteries in here, 4 of them if I want to. But like I said, it's just the limitation. Also the weight. So the 2 AGM batteries underneath the van is 70 pounds each. So they're 12 volt, 100 something amp hours, and they're heavy. Plus the casing that they're in, that's holding them. So I would say total they're like 150 pounds underneath in batteries. That's only, they rated them at 230 amp hours because there's 2 of them wired in parallel. But AGM batteries, you cannot discharge them over 50%, or else you're going to diminish their life. So effectively, you only have 100 amp hours. And I've been surviving with 100 amp hours of total battery power here in this van, camping, normal camping. I don't live in this van, by the way. So that's basically my, you can gauge usage on that. I don't run my AC either because the Max fan does plenty. I'm in Northern California, so it is hot here sometimes, but not like Arizona, or it's not a desert or anything. So it's not in that Texas. So I just go on. I camp in elevation. If it's too hot, I don't go where it's unbearable. So the Max fan right there, I leave that on all day in this van, and I have plenty of power for all my stuff. So with that said, my use case, 100 effectively 100 amp hours is enough usage. So I don't have to go huge on the battery bank. So I'm thinking I'm thinking because I have 2 sets of batteries I purchased. I have a 314 amp hour wattcycle battery, 2 of them, and I have 2 of the 100 amp hour wattcycle as well. So I have effectively a 200 amp hour battery bank plus or a 628 amp hour battery bank. So Depends on what I can fit in here. If it's too much trouble for me, I have extra plywood as well. I can remake this wood to have a more space that still fits in there. You guys will see. I'm not gonna go through it step by step when I put it on. I'm just gonna put it on and explain to you guys what I did later in this video, and then I guess you guys will find out if I decided to go with a smaller battery bank or the large one. But anyways, I'm testing to see which battery group will fit best. Of course, it would be nice to put the 628 amp hours total battery bank in here, but if it's too much trouble to fit with that plastic on, I'm not gonna go through the trouble. I can just do a refund on that. That battery bank, by the way, is $1,000. So if I chose to go with just the 200 amp hours, that's still over 100% upgrade from my current battery system, and that's already super good for me. So even the smaller battery bank is going to be much lighter. For one, it's smaller as well. So the difference between the two is the 200 amp hour battery bank is 40 pounds together. The 628 amp hours group is about 120 pounds. So imagine that, the big difference in weight. So I'm already going to be solving my power struggle, if you can say that, with the 200 amp hour battery system weighing only at 40 pounds. So I'm kind of leaning towards the cheaper option. And like I said, if you just do this battery bank, the smaller one, you're not going to spend a lot. If you have the 19YG, all you need to do is buy that battery bank that I mentioned, the wattcycle. They're like 350 right now on Amazon, free shipping. And then you just move the battery from the bottom, because you don't want to store lithium batteries in the elements. So you got to move them somewhere in here. And I think what I'm planning to do is I'm gonna try my best to do as minimal work as possible, so I can tell you guys, I'm hoping I can tell you guys, hey, this is all you need to do. Because if you have to do a lot of custom work, that kind of like, it's like it scares a lot of people. So I'm not here trying to encourage you guys to modify your van, but I'm just saying the possibility of how easy this upgrade can be is I think it's something to, because initially when I looked into this, I'm like, whoa, what am I, what am I doing? But I did all, I traced everything. I studied everything. I spent a lot of hours sitting here in this van, looking at this wiring setup. You can dissect this any way you want and frown upon it, but understand that this van is mass manufactured by a company. And they're trying to make as many of these as many of these as possible, as fast as possible. So it's like a double-edged sword at the same, because in the form of they made it so that this is very easy to put together. At the same time, the way it's put together is kind of crude, but at the same time they made it so that it's not convoluted. It's actually, there's a system to this. If you actually look into how the wiring is done, it's easy to work on, actually. It's just, at first sight, it's daunting to look at. Okay, I said a lot of things. I just kind of want to do an intro. I'm not touching the solar on the roof for this upgrade, so I'm strictly focusing on the battery system. Okay, for my use case, the 200 watt solar array up there with these components work fine. Okay, I'm only basically increasing my battery storage capacity. So now I will have a full 200 amp hour capacity. I'm also going to be adding a Victron shunt along here at the negative line, so that I will have battery monitoring capabilities. So we're going to do that. The BIM is going to be replaced by a Victron DC to DC charger. It's a smarter charger. It can have parameters set for lithium batteries being charged, more precise, more configurable equipment. So just those two extra things. So I'm going to add those two extra things. So one is in place of this, and one is going to be somewhere in here. So a little bit of editing. For me, you don't have to do that. You can keep, you need to change this, because this is not a lithium DC charger. This is only for AGM. So if you're going to do a battery isolator, you have to get the LiBIM from these guys, and you can use that if you want. So all you have to do is transfer the wiring to that, and it's easy. But I'm choosing to go a little bit a little bit more difficult route, but because that one gives me more of a configurable scenario. So the shunt is I just don't trust the Firefly to really monitor the batteries. They're not really that accurate. Also, they don't really show much stuff. They just kind of show general charge levels, and you know, the shunt will give me exact battery numbers and more parameters to look at. So that's kind of like the reason. And I want to show you guys the setup here. So you have a main battery cutoff switch. You also have a breaker that they already put here for your DC lines going to the house. So if you're gonna work on this thing, you just have to, you know, set break the circuit breaker here and turn off the battery. You don't have to worry about disconnecting your solar, because your solar goes into the to this system that goes into this panel here before it goes into your 12 volts. You already broke that circuit, so you don't have to worry about your 12 volt going awry or whatever. Alternative to this is you can get a solar breaker on its own to connect the solar charge controller, and then upstream and downstream, so two breakers. But that's extra components. I just don't want to deal with it. Two extra components that I have to install in here and wire. If the RV certification they allowed this kind of build, I would be more, you know, I would assume that this is appropriate. So, you know, this van is an RV, so it's not like a custom built. They built this in you know, with the certification parameters in mind. So, you know, this has to be RV certified. So anyways, yeah, so we're just gonna get on with the build. I will walk you through what I did once I get started. Alright guys, so I'm in the middle of it now. All I'm doing is I'm loosening up the wiring. I know, like the organization. I'm basically trying to do as much as I can to salvage this box that they made. I'm trying to do, like I said, I want to do as little as possible. So all I'm doing is trying to make room for the batteries. So I want the batteries to sit up here. I have battery straps that I'm going to be using. I'm going to put that right here. Hopefully it's good enough. So just what I'm trying to figure out right now is to move these components in this section here, and hopefully I still have enough room to close the thing. So we will find out. I'm moving it now, and I'm mocking it up, and then I'm going to put the panel. I keep putting the panel off and on, so I don't want to include all that in the video. So I'll just basically skip through the part where I figured it out already. So, all right, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Alright guys, so I'm underneath the van. These are the house AGM batteries. I'm working on removing them. There is a cage. Be careful doing this if you are doing this, because it's going to be so heavy. So if you're not very strong, I would say put a jack underneath here to support it. Yeah, like I said, this is about 100 something pounds plus, 140, 150 I think, something like that. So I am gonna put a jack on here, I think. Don't just wing it, because it's gonna be super heavy when it comes down, so be careful. Alright guys, so I got one battery out. This thing is heavy, so I think it's best if you try to just get one battery out at a time to lessen the load on that carrier. So as you can see here, I still have one more battery to remove. I'm gonna just disconnect it. So they are hooked up in parallel. So yeah, so they had the terminals hooked up in parallel. So I'm gonna remove this one battery here. It's a little bit tricky because this has less room in it. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to maybe remove some of the, it's in two parts, the cradle. I'm gonna see if I can try to remove some parts of it and see if I can wiggle it out of there, because this thing here, the toe bracket, is in the way to slide this out. So I think there's gonna be some finessing that I need to do to get that one out. But the van is carrying this thing is like, I work out, but like, man, I think this is 70 pounds by itself. It's because I use power blocks for my gym. I think, oh my God, this is like 70 pounds. Like, man. And you're basically carrying this dead weight, and you're not getting, the power, the whole 200 amp hours with these two together, like 140 pounds. So this is the whole point. So I don't want to be carrying dead weight in my van, even though I know it's it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but like still, this is the easy change. So we're gonna fish the cabling out up to here. So the only cable that's coming out of this hole now will be the generator wire. So that means you have to fill it. They used a foam sealant, so a spray foam. I bought some. See, I'll see if it works the same way. Foam sealant. I'm gonna spray that to fill in the hole underneath, underneath and above. So I'm just gonna make the wires more efficient. So I just basically, so right now I'm unbolting everything. So everything's a mess right now, but I'll fast forward to later when I have more progress. All right, so after some struggle, these are so heavy. It's hard to move it by hand as well. So I think they're just 70 pounds plus each. And so they are group 31, it looks like here. They're like the group 31 model of this battery. Harris battery, doesn't say, but the brochure said the van has 230 amp hours. So that's the case right there. Very flimsy case. It does its job. It's basically just sitting there, exposed to the elements. I worry about this if you're going to the snow, getting the battery wet, crossing some water, stuff like that. Like I worry about it. I just don't like where the battery is. If this battery was somewhere inside, maybe I would have been okay, like just leaving it, maybe under the passenger seat on the back. But where it's located, I can't live with it. So we're gonna change this to lithium. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Oh, by the way, now that look at the space that we have here now. Unfortunately, we have those studs that they drilled across the floor to accommodate this. So I'm just gonna basically put the nuts that came with it, I guess, for the enclosure, just to kind of complete the studs, I guess. I just there's these crossbars here. They're not connected to anything, but they're kind of cut. So I don't know. Can I just remove them? They're like just hanging there. I guess to accommodate this. But they're not supporting anything. They're just drilled onto the frame for no reason. Those crossbars right there. The black one. See, this one is cut right here. So I might just remove those. I don't know what is it for. It's not connected to anything. So all right, I'm gonna keep plugging away at this. Alright guys, so still in the middle of it. I kind of dismantled the box just a little bit, just to kind of free up the wires, just to route them in a way that I'm kind of comfortable with once I move the components. So the solar chargers right here, the bus bars, I kind of laid them out. That's the ATS right here, and I was just hanging there. I'm avoiding trying to unplug as much as I can, but basically I removed the top panel of the wood right here, and this is what they made. So they had like a shelf here for support. So I really want to utilize this for the battery area. So I want to put the battery in this section here, because I just don't want to drill any more holes into the van. So if I can avoid doing that, that's best. Just use what they made here. So if I can make room, I'm wondering if all the components, once I put it in here, there was space here, where I, when the panel comes back on, I think there might be room. So I'm just gonna see what we can do here. If not, then I'll try my best to at least I unbolted it, so I can at least move the components, some of it. I have an extra piece of plywood. I can make a longer one. So the existing one ends like right here. I can make a longer one so that I have more space to put other components on top. So I could do that. There's a lot of options. You can do whatever. The restriction is how much out you can go. You can kind of guide yourself with eyeball it. This is where the panel screws back on. So you kind of have just about this much room. So the solar charger might not fit putting it on this side. It might have to stay on top. The ATS box might need to stay on top as well. So I have to play around with that. So I think I'm gonna, at least I unbolted them so I can actually maybe put them on the edges and then the battery in the middle. I could probably do that. But at least I have room for the my Victron DC charger here. And then I'm not gonna hard mount the shunt. I think I'm just gonna kind of Velcro it on the battery itself. You know, because it's really, literally, it's one negative wire going into the battery, and then it's like a you know, it's like a pigtail. So I'm not gonna hard mount it. There's no point in doing that. It's kind of like a I'm just gonna hard mount it on the. I'm just gonna Velcro it on the surface of the battery, and then I can connect to it through Bluetooth. So so yeah, you know, it's convenient that they did a bus bar that's fused. It's a fused bus bar, so it kind of eliminates a lot of fusing, you know, in here. So these are fused bus bars, so it's individually fused. So that's kind of cool. For the Victron, I have to make a cable, a negative cable, going into the to the Victron. So these two are the batteries. So the positives, two positives, one battery, one house battery, and then the negative of those batteries are in here. I think one of them is either this one and this one. So these two, I think so. I think that's the one. So yeah, this one and this one negatives, and then I'll just leave them alone. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hook up one negative cable and go up to the Victron. So make it easy for myself, you know. So the negatives, I'm gonna leave the negative bus bar alone. Yeah. So I have to make sure also that when I turn on this thing, I have to make sure use the pin to push that pin, and then there's a light over here. It's hard to see, but there's a light right here that you can change your. There's even the instructions right there to what color you set it to make it lithium polymer lithium iron phosphate battery. So there you go. So yeah, just set it to the right color, and then we'll do that once I install the battery. But right now I'm just basically doing the prep work for housing the battery. So I think, yeah, so here's where the advantage of going lighter with the batteries comes into play. So imagine if I put 120 pounds in here of lithium, which is the 314 amp hour watt cycle. I don't know, I guess it's okay. 120 pounds though, you know, versus 40 pounds, right? So if I can live with just the 40 pounds, I'll just do the 40 pounds, because the 40 pounds, I mean, I think this will be okay, you know, wood wise. I mean, it's fine. 120 pounds though is yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I have a thicker plywood over there. I have a 3/4. I could do 3/4 plywood. This is a half, I think. Yeah. So this is a half. So I could just make a whole new plywood. I can make a longer one too. So I have some plywood there, so I can just remake. But as much as I can, I want to eliminate more work for me, more custom work. I just want to unbolt it and bolt it back on. So, all right, let's keep working at it. All right, YouTube. So this is the wattcycle 314 amp hours. I'm charging them right now. So I can't install it yet to the van. So it's probably going to take a day. So it's like a multi-day process. It's 4 hours to charge this one. Then I have to do another 4 hours on that one. So it's gonna take a whole day basically to just get them 100% before I parallel them. I think that's the best practice, just so the cells are balanced. This is the charger. This is a 50 amp basic Amazon 14.6 volt 50 amp charger. It's really not expensive. So this is like, I think the fastest I could do 50 amps AC. So I think I want to utilize this in the van too. If there's a room I can mount this, it would be nice to make it like like it's faster than shore power. So if I can utilize this, if I can plug in, somewhere and use this as a charger to fast charge my battery bank, I want to utilize this because it came with like an Anderson quick disconnect. So I kind of want to just keep this set up. It's kind of nice, like if I know for sure I have a shore power or hard RV hookup, I'll just fast charge it this way too. So this is nice, dude. The battery is nice. Like I connected to the Bluetooth of it. You can see the status. You see how much. You don't really need the shunt because it monitors like how much longer it will take to charge it and all that stuff. So it tells you like the time frame. It's just that I guess it will provide me I want to know. I wonder if the app. Well, you cannot see it in parallel. You have to look at each battery individually. So that's, I guess, one thing. The shunt can see them both at the same time, if that makes sense. So the app can only show you the battery one at a time. We get connected this one, connected that one. So maybe you have to label it because it's confusing. Sometimes you only see serial numbers for them. So I'm gonna label it battery A, battery B, so I know which one I'm looking at when I look at the app. So here we go. All right, guys. So here I am test fitting the battery. So it looks like I have to remake the shelf. So if I want to accommodate this big battery, so like I mentioned before, I did order 2 sets of batteries, one 200 amp hours and this one. And I really want to make this one work. It's just that it won't work with the existing. Actually, it would work with the existing shelf. It would. I just don't trust the strength of it. So what I'm planning to do is I'm gonna have another shelf that's resting on the wheel well itself, so that's completely nice support, because the other one is using like just a shelf that's screwed onto the wall there. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. I bought the plywood already. I'll just cut it and then put it in here. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that. Also, the shelf is gonna be longer, so it's gonna house the 2 batteries side by side. They're 30 inches across, like this. So the board is gonna be more solid that way, and then going down like a L. So and then all the wires are gonna be underneath, and then I'll just try to route it as best I can. But just giving you guys an update. I'm almost done. Basically, I just need to charge the batteries. Like I said, I'm still charging them, and I need to put this on there with the board. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, guys. So pardon the mess. Okay, I'm just test fitting the panel. So the panel is fitting so far. Once I button everything up with the battery straps, the battery is in here actually. So I wish I could elongate this so that I could. Well, it's good for safety, but like there's ventilation for the battery, the heat, and all that stuff. But most of the components are back here. So I'll open it up in a second. So let me show you. Okay, so far this is the progress. I just kind of shoved everything in here to test fit the panel. So it looks like we're gonna be a success, guys. So I'm gonna put the Victron. I mean, not completely yet, because I still have to make room for. There's two things. The Victron, MPP, the DC to DC charger somewhere has to sit somewhere, and then I still have to. So the battery. Victron Smart Shunt still has to be installed. The MPPT needs to be situated somewhere, and I have to put all these other components back. Maybe I have to make a panel here, like a sub box, so that I can bolt these on like how it was before. So I need to just cut like a small piece of wood and screw it to the side here. I might just do that, or I can put the old one back and just screw it back in here, which is not a bad idea actually. Let me see if I can get that. All right, so it's a little ugly because they put a hole in this thing and it's roughly cut. I mean, mine's not any better, but I chose a thicker piece of wood. You can see the difference in thickness there. Mine's a stronger wood. But for this panel, I don't think it's a big deal. All right, so rough placement. There is this battery. This is the bus, the positive wire to the bus. It goes up to here. It goes to this box. They utilized a hole, so I can disconnect that again and put it through the hole again. I could do that just so that I could use this. I mean it. I could use it. It's just so I don't have to do much more cutting of wood. So they put a like a backing here. I can just drill a screw through here to connect it here, and then put it back. And that's kind of like, I know, you know, I still semi OEM, right? I might actually just do that. I'm just gonna disconnect this wire, put it through this hole again, and connect it, and show you guys how it looks like. Okay, so this is how it's roughly gonna look. I put the panel on just kind of roughly. I'm gonna screw it to the side here. So as you saw before, it fits. So I have room for another battery up here. It's gonna be sitting like really close up here. I have room for cables for the parallel connection. Kind of scratched the sticker there. That kind of sucks, but it is what it is. It's fine. Once I connect the battery, the main lines, this is the one that came from underneath the van. I'm gonna have to make sure to set the converter to lithium. So it's gonna go on until tomorrow because I'm waiting for these batteries to charge. So, but this is the update. I guess we're 2 days into this now. So far, yeah, 2 days into it, and making good progress. I really like this project. It's really easy and it's kind of fun. So I'm just gonna keep plugging away at this. I'm gonna keep cleaning all these sawdust and all that stuff. So, but yeah, here it is. Alright guys, so before I close it up, let me just do some kind of wrapping up recording here. So a lot has going on since the last one. Last section of the video, I had like a 314 amp hour battery in here. I told you guys I ordered 2 sets, so this is the second set. It just arrived. It's the 200 amp hours. I think this is all I really need. Switching to this, it's a lighter set. Also, it's a cheaper set. So the other one was $1,000 something. This is only $350, and I have more space to put more components in here. When I use this one, I'm able to mount the solar back to where it was. I just had to move the ATS down here. This is a completely new board. If you guys don't notice, I used some of the old one. As you can see here, this panel, I attached it to this new board, but this new board is longer. It's also lower. So that was the point of me making this. So I'm able to add the Victron. Still not fully wired. I still have to. What I just noticed is on the 19YG, they used a 2 AWG wire, a thick wire, for the in and out, and this will not go into the Victron. The Victron maximum is 6. You can do a 4 or a 6 into here, which is I have a 6. So what I'm trying to do is I ordered some splicing to join them, like a splicing device. I'll show that, I guess, when I get it. This has been a multi-day project because I'm ordering parts as I need them. So I don't know what I need until I need them. So it's still a mess in here. I have to put the thing back. But yesterday, or from the previous segment, I was able to fit the 314 amp hours with the panel in here. So this is a much smaller battery. Again, this is 40 pounds together. So, and 200 amp hours compared to the 150 pounds of the AGM, where you can only use 100 amp hours of it, and they claim it's 200 amp hours. But since it's the AGM, you cannot deplete the charge. So now you cannot deplete the charge more than 50%. So you can only use basically 100 amp hours of it. So now I have a Victron Smart Shunt. I still don't know how to. I'm still doing the wiring, like kind of like moving it around places and tying it down. But the way it is here, the panel will cover this, and it's accessible. I want to add, as you can see, this wire here. This is an extra wire. This is basically the charger. I want to incorporate this in my setup. I just don't know how to do it like cleanly because there's no more space to put it on. It's quite big, but it's a fast charger. It's a 50 amp fast charger. I can just disconnect it. I can just carry the charger separately when I need it. I can just kind of reach in here somehow and kind of plug it in. I could do that, but I could also just stuff it in this space, because when you open the access door, there's space here. I know it's just kind of sitting there like that, but like it uses an AC outlet on this side. So what I'm thinking about doing is I'm gonna permanently just attach it, right? I don't know if that's good for it's off. So there's a physical off switch So it's nothing. It's not drawing any power or parasitic anything. Maybe I'll just rest it right here. The rag is here because there's a hole in here. I don't know if you guys could tell. The wires used to go through the floor here, so now there's less wire. There's only one wire. This is the generator wire coming out. So I need to fill this with like some foam sealant. Same thing that they did, but in a much nicer way. They didn't do it properly. So I'll show you. I guess I'll include that in this video as well. But so basically I want to just maybe stuff these two things in here like that. And when I need it, I'm gonna attach it here, turn this on, plug it into like the house outlet. It'll fast charge my battery 50 amps more than the 30 amp shore power that this could do. Like, you know, extra capabilities, right? It's not a bad thing to have an extra capability. I'm thinking about doing that. And yeah, so everything works. As soon as I turn the breaker on, as soon as I turn the battery on, everything, all the lights work. My max air fan is working. I can monitor the battery condition through the smart shunt now. You know, I can just make it pretty in here, but you cannot see it because of the panel that it's gonna be hidden under. I used one strap. It's not very you know, secure, but it's not gonna move because of how many things are attached to it and how much it's weighing it down. I did use some of the strap anchors. I did anchor it over there on all sides. So basically it's like it's in this spot. It's not gonna slide around. But it's only one strap for both batteries. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I don't think it's really gonna be like jump. So of course it's not gonna jump around because it's strapped at the top, you know, holding it down. It's also not gonna slide on any direction horizontally this way. So I'm pretty confident about that. We'll find out. I'll keep checking on it. If it lifts up or anything like that, I'll add another strap, maybe in the middle here. But yeah, so far this is everything. Maybe I adjusted. It's not much to adjust. Let me see if I can show you guys. I can't walk. It's not much to adjust in here. So on the Firefly, I go. You can see the house battery, chassis battery. I haven't started a van in a while, so all I did was go to solar, go to setup. Battery 1 is your that's your house battery. Usually, that's what they said. So I did lithium, 200 amp hours. That's the battery bank size. 2 is the the chassis. So that's AGM, 100 amp hours. Typically they're like 95, something like that. So they're starting battery. So now it's like this. So I have 13.5. That's, yeah, so it's, you know, that's the resting voltage of the lithium. Based on the, so now with the smart shunt, I have basically a way to find out like how much long do I have to like until you know the battery dies. I don't have that in that Firefly. So with the smart shunt I get more data to know you know, my usage, how much more I can be off grid, stuff like that. It's really nice because right now, as soon as I plugged it in, as it is right now, I have like a week or something, like 10 days or something, like a full 10 days of all this being on like straight, you know what I mean? Like no driving, just sit in here. I also have a carport, so I have no solar. So as is, with no solar, just battery running this, lights, max air, I have 10 days of energy use. This is a fully charged battery. I fully charged it before I paralleled them. So that's kind of like that's what they said to do. So this is from full. You have 1 week of off grid, no sun, no driving, and just using the van as a shelter. So, and that's never gonna happen because I don't stay like that in anywhere. I'll have some kind of solar charging happening, or I'll be driving. So so I think that's pretty good. I think that's a good compromise. I can always have more amp hours, but you know, at a cost and weight. So the other one was 120 pounds. That's gonna be in here. This is 40. So you know, like the trade-off, there's always a trade-off. It's not like I can always stuff this with batteries and then you're gonna weigh yourself down, and you're not really gonna use all of it. So what's the point, right? So you gotta ask yourself, I guess, what do you really need? When I survived with this van, with technically 100 amp hours with the AGM batteries. I'm fine with it. I've been using it with that. I never ran out of energy and I never ran out of power. So I think the cost to benefit ratio with this set at $350 is the best cost to benefit ratio compared to the 314 amp hour set, which is $1,000, which I didn't really need. So anyways, justification there. I still have to wire, like I said, I still have to wire. This is the last piece, so I'm not gonna cover it yet. I just want to give you guys some kind of like summary of what's happened here. I've since changed the mode for the converter charger to be lithium. I don't know if I showed that on the other previous segment. If I didn't, I did. It's blue. Blue is the lithium. It says though right there. There's like a list. So you just switch it to that color, the appropriate color, and then you're good. So I need to clean up in here. I have all my tools. But so far I'm at a stopping point because I'm waiting for my splicing devices. Sorry about that. I have I should get better labeling. So this is the van battery that has to go into the in, and this is the house battery that has to go to the out. So it's going to be charging at 50 amps, 700 watts. That's basically what this is. So when you plug this in, this charged the battery. Sorry about that. So this and this are similar. So this was charging the battery around 700 watts. This is a 50 amp charger, AC. And then when I got these batteries, usually when you get these batteries, they're at 30 something percent, 30%, 34%, something like that, 37%. This charged it within an hour. So less than an hour, it's like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. So this size battery, the 314 amp hours, it took like 4 hours, something like that. But this one took like, so basically I guess it's an hour per 100 amp hours. It's an hour per 100. It seems like it, because 314, and then it took like 3 hours to fully charge it from 37%, something like that. I don't know, but that's what I noticed. So this is similar. So if I'm shore powered, if I could plug in AC, I would be charging is about that much if I don't deplete it all the way to zero. But if I'm driving, I know that's nice to know that I'll be having that much charging capabilities as well as this one while I'm driving, because they're both 50 and 700. Yeah, so that's what I chose. That's why I chose the 12-12-50. So there you go. This is basically, I haven't tallied everything up because like I bought something, I returned something, but I would say this is a variable. You don't have to buy this charger, you don't have to buy any charger, but actually you do, because when you buy a lithium battery, you want to charge them 100% first. You don't want to you want to balance charge. You want to balance when you're parallel when you parallel the battery, you want them to be same, like, same levels. So I charged them 100% before I connected them in parallel. So if you want to do this upgrade on a 19YG, what you have to do is I suggest the shunt. I suggest the DC to DC charger. I suggest you create a new shelf. This could probably have been done with the stock shelf, but a little bit tricky. Maybe, I'm not sure. But you see how this is a 30-inch wood plank. So the old one was not 30-inch. It was like somewhere around here. So part of this will be hanging off. So 30, and then this is a 13-inch height. And then I created like a backing under here, under this plank. There's like a support to rest on the wheel well. So most of this weight that I'm carrying is resting on the wheel well. Before, they had like a metal bracket on the van wall that's the plank is resting on. I didn't like that. I just didn't like it. I prefer the downward force to be on the wheel well metal itself. So I put up a wood, attached it underneath this thing, so like it has it's like pushing down into the wheel well like this. So it's really strong. So you have this base and you have the other side. It's really strong. Like, this is not gonna move. It's secure. Anyways, what else? I did not replace anything on this panel. This is the stock panel, so you don't even have to spend on that. It's just this was the custom one. I bought like $100 worth of plywood to do this. I don't know, So those are variables. You could be as good as eyeballing all this, and you don't have to spend that much. And if you already have the tools, I had to buy tools. So you really, the biggest part of the expense is the batteries. The batteries was 350 bucks. Everything else is like the wirings are like $60, $6, $5 here and there. The tools was expensive because I didn't have tools. I didn't have a wire cutter like this big for a 4.0. The 4.0 wire is really big to cut. You can cut it, but it's just this ratcheting cutter, it made it super easy. Wire crimper for a 4.0 wire. And I don't know what else I bought in here. This is the foam that I'm gonna try. It's like a foam sealant made for like RVs. I don't know how this is gonna come out, but I think this is similar to what they already used in here. It's basically you spray it and it becomes like a foam stuffing. So it's easy to remove. You just pull it off, it removes itself. It's very, very easy. It's just that they didn't apply it properly because it was like they just kind of sprayed it on, and then you could like I said, put like tape underneath to and then you spray it so that the underneath is flush to the underneath of the van. But they just kind of sprayed it so it's like a glob, it's like a blob under there. It looks like whatever, it is craftsmanship. They don't really probably care. They probably don't think anyone will see it, but it is what it is. Yeah, so I'm still gonna have another segment to this. I'm not gonna end the video right here. This is gonna be a long one, so whatever, because I want to summarize all this before in this one video, and then so that I can just I don't have to make many videos. I'm gonna be, once I get the parts for this, I'll close it up, and then we'll finalize the video. All right. Okay, this is the last part for sure. I promise. I'm here in the van. Everything's powered on. I installed every single thing. I'm not gonna include the foam action for the thing because this is just for the power system, this video. So now the upgrade is complete. I have everything situated in here in a way that the panel will go back. So this is basically the formation. I know it's a little, there's more wires because I added this thing and I added the shunt, so there's extra cabling, extra lengths of stuff. I could probably shorten this thing. This is basically the Victron 12 to 12 50 amp charger. So this is really nice. So I just configured it. I started the van. You can see how much it's charging the house battery, and vice versa. Like it does a bulk charge at first, like a fast surge charge, and then it goes on absorption and then float. So it's just right now it's off because the van is off. So it's blinking. That's basically the Bluetooth. It's not bulk charging right now. When it's bulk charging, it's solid blue. Same with the smart shunt. They just blink when they're just on. So the van is off. Inverter is on. Everything's on. I'm charging my phone right now while I'm recording this because I'm running out of battery. Like I said, I'm just gonna leave this here. Not the rag. The rags I'm gonna take off once I seal the hole that's down there. I'm gonna leave this here. I don't know yet what to do with it. I could probably screw it on the floor, but like not a big deal because it's like not a lot of movement goes on back here. Yeah, so I just kind of want to give you guys like a closing video here. Everything works, so super happy about that. This is basically what I always envision. There's a lot of research that went into this. Decision making, most of all, is like how far should I take this, how much little work do I want to do. This is basically, I would say, the least amount of work that you could do to do an upgrade. Just to basically piggybacking off what's originally already in the 19YG, which is a pretty good system. It's just that we shaved weight. The bottom line with this is we shaved weight and we doubled the battery capacity. You heard the converter just turned off because my battery just got fully charged. When I was monitoring my battery earlier, I was at 99%, so it just turned off. It's probably on the float charge now because it's going to kick on later because I'm still running my electricity here. So anyways, I love it. So I already kind of I still have to drive the thing to make sure really like if I even notice the weight difference. Of course I wouldn't, but I pretty much say on paper I shaved about 10 pounds, I would say, because the other ones are 70 pounds, I guess, each battery, plus I don't know however heavy that carrier was for the battery underneath the van. So now it's gonna be here, safe, secure, strapped. I'm happy about this upgrade because in the future, if they ever come up with a battery that's longer, I mean, a better capacity, a nicer shape, I can always just take the battery out from here, put a new battery in. Like this area here can house different shapes of batteries. That's what I like about it. About this, basically, this plan is the future, expandability of this van is just it's just much nicer in this way. So anyways, yeah, so the adding this one I recommend, adding the smart shunt I recommend. I didn't pretty much do any other wiring. I had to do a join here, a splice combiner, because this is a 6 AWG wire going into this is a they gave this is from the manufacturer. There's a 2 gauge wire, 2 AWG wire. So it's a very thick wire. It won't go in directly to the Orion. It's maximum is 6. So that's the reason for that. That is if you wanna, I want to avoid doing extra wiring. So I probably could fix this length so that I just don't want to cut too much wires. I just want to keep the lengths relatively how they were when they were from the manufacturer, just in case, you know, yeah, I don't know, just in case. I like to stay true to the OEM because that was my plan. I want to stick to the OEM as close as possible. So now I have a capability to charge externally. Basically, I have solar charging, I have shore power charging, I have generator charging, alternator charging. I have a fifth one, which is this one. So I have five ways to charge this thing. So I'm really happy about that, the flexibility and capability. I know it's only 200 amp hours, but like I said, I don't live in this thing, so this is really just a geeky kind of project, and this has doubled our power system already. So, and the van is much lighter for it. So, anyways, that's it. I'm gonna close this up. I guess I'll show you. That's the ending shot. I'll close it up now. Put all the screws in. There's a lot of screws, so I'm not gonna include that. I'm gonna fast forward when that thing is already on here. So, okay, give me just a second. All right, YouTube. Final recap. I guess I'll talk to you guys this way. The panel is on. I just want to give you guys kind of like a summary, I guess, of what happened here. So the motivation for this, just to summarize the video, it's been a multi-day process. The motivation here is to shave weight, double my power capacity, have a nicer system because now I have the Victron Smart Shunt and the DC to DC charger that I can monitor the charge levels and control the charge and actually have a more efficient charging system. All in all, to summarize everything, I did this, I think, after everything all the parts that I actually used, I would say the upgrade is like $1,000. So that's considering the $350 wattcycle batteries and the tools that I bought, extra wires that I bought, and the two Victron components that I added to this is under $1,000 actually. And originally, I don't know if I mentioned on the other videos, I was quoted like over 10,000 to do this upgrade. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. I did just basically, I think that was just a motivational thing for me. Like, that's crazy expensive, and it's just basically I don't know if they just have a blanket price, or whoever I got quotes for two different local installers. I don't know if I think they just have a blanket price, so they were gonna charge me regardless. Even if they didn't have to do something, they're probably just gonna charge me anyway regardless. So it is what it is. Business is business, but I couldn't live with that paying 13,000. And I do a lot. I build computers for fun. I know how to put a system together. The van stuff is new to me. It took me a while to research and then to implement. So it took me like a week to put this together, to build the whole thing. Making the shelf, custom shelf for the battery. It's actually a nice I don't know. It's very rewarding, this project, for me, and I'm very passionate. For some reason, I'm very passionate about it. Um, I tried the two different wattcycle batteries, the smart one and this dumb one, which is a lower capacity. And, I also told you guys already, like 200 amp hours is plenty for basic camping use. If I went with the expensive battery set, I would have spent more, but I wouldn't really utilize all of the 628 amp hours that it offers, because I will never be able to, even with the Victron 50 amp DC charger, I won't be able to charge that thing. I have to drive for like, I don't know, 4 hours, I think. The calculator, I think, at Explorers That Life, I think I had to, if I deplete that battery, I only have 200 watts of solar on the roof, off grid. I cannot charge that battery all day. Like, it would take days. Like, I need to drive for hours, maybe 8 hours of driving just to charge that thing. So going with a 200 amp hours more realistic. Like, I could use most of it. So, you know, bragging rights wise, I have 628 amp hours, but like, I'm not utilizing the all of it. So why bother spending that money? So I have 200 amp hours. If I drive for 30 minutes, it'll be mostly charged. So, that's a good thing. Plugging into shore power, it only takes like under an hour to charge it. And if you're camping, you're supposed to be outside enjoying outdoors anyway. So that's just me to wrap it up. It's sealed. Everything fits in there. I have the external charger in there as well. The fast lithium. So I have 5 methods of charging. So I have solar. I have the DC charger. I have the shore power. I have the generator. And I have that. So did I say that? One. External charger, solar, DC, shore, generator. Yeah, 5. I have 5 different kinds of charging situations that I could do if I'm, whatever situation I'm in. So, the van is now 100 pounds lighter, 100 pounds plus lighter. Now the battery is no longer outside, it's inside. So if I go over some waters, I mean, the generator is still down there, but I think that's more better. It can handle water splashing on it more than the battery. The terminals were exposed; they're just in the elements. So now that they're inside here, uh, makes me feel a little bit more better than the. I still have to drive the van just to see how it all like feels. I probably won't notice like 100 pounds off. It's just like one passenger being off, but where it was located, it was underneath the floor, underneath the van. It was behind the rear axle, so you're carrying like an anchor, the way it felt when you're driving it. So now I only have the generator down there, which is the generator. I think it's like 100 something pounds as well. It's okay, I could. We'll see how that feels like. But I like the generator. I initially wanted to remove the generator, but having the generator offers 50 amps, 700 watts of charging when I looked at it through the shunt. So when I turned on the generator, I wanted to see what is actually generating. So it's actually nice to see that with the shunt. The shunt gave me a lot of information. It tells me also when I turn off the van completely, like, because of the lithium is so efficient and it's so much there's so much power on it. It says the time remaining is infinite. Like, I don't know how true that is, because there's I know eventually there's gonna be a countdown, but like, I have so much power with these power bank at 200 amp hours that the shunt is reporting that it's when you turn everything off, the house off, with the main power off, it's like infinite. So it's like you can be on standby for days. When I had the AGM, I have to like charge it some way within like 2 weeks or something, or a week if I'm not using the van. So that's kind of nice. I think, under $1,000 versus like over 10,000 that I was quoted, you can do this upgrade. It's like, I think, next to the suspension, if you have a 19YG, I'm speaking to, I guess, people that are looking to the 19YG because they're like, oh, AGM batteries, whatever. But you can do this if the van is a bare shell, the battery system stuff. It's not hard. Like, you can make it as simple as you can. You can make it as complicated as you can. Throughout my research, I've learned how to put the power systems together, from remedial stuff like this all the way to like the complex stuff. I actually accidentally learned how to do them because of how determined I was to learn this system. So it's actually just, give it some time, find your motivation, and you save a lot of money doing that, learning something yourself. So anyways, that's it. Just to wrap it up, right now, like, I have all the power on and all that stuff. I'm just, running through the system here. I mean, it's working as it should. I don't have anything else to show you guys. It's something remarkable. Nothing really. Everything's powered up. Everything's good. So thank you guys for watching. If you're still here towards the end of the video, that's thank you guys for watching all the way through. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Comments, email me. Got a few people emailing me about this because I started kind of like a can of worms here because everyone's interested now. Like, people are looking into the 19YG because it's cheaper, the cheaper option, and then like, oh, how do I upgrade this stuff? So here it is. Here's the full feature video. You guys saw what it looks like and how to do it. So all right, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys for the next one.